Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Youmans, host of the Youmans Report. Today's May 3rd, 2017, and this is your news for the day. So early last year, the Pentagon announced a program called Hack the Pentagon, and in turn, the Army has announced Hack the Army, and recently, this week, the Air Force has announced Hack the Air Force. So what exactly do they mean by this? Well, they mean that they're getting in bed with people they would normally not shake hands with. Who best to find the bugs than the people who are actively looking for them anyway? Well, that's the idea. Michael Mimoso from threatpost.com wrote an awesome article on the U.S. Army, and being a former Army guy, that's the one that I went to. Essentially, what they're trying to do is have external parties do a bug bounty program. They're saying, hey, hack us. Find those OWASP vulnerabilities and let us know where our web servers are bad. Let us know where our web applications are bad. We might be exposing information over here that we might not even know about. And if you let us know, we'll give you a bounty. What that bounty isn't exactly clear, but I'm sure they're probably paying good money for that type of information. It'll prevent further hacks from going out. Next in the news, from the Register over in the UK, John Layden wrote an article about the biggest security threats to U.S. healthcare. I find it funny that the Register over in the UK is talking about U.S. healthcare, but it is that big of a topic. And it's not actual hacking anymore. Back a couple years ago, there was a huge Anthem breach, the Anthem insurance company, and there's other breaches that year that really compounded the healthcare loss by record numbers, right? So a healthcare record, one count versus 5 million counts, and the count of records lost was actually less in 2016, although there was more attacks. So it's interesting to think about how the visibility of these big attacks and the negative publicity that goes on in the U.S. healthcare really refocuses attention to security. I think a lot of the healthcare companies, the clearinghouses, and the individual providers have really stepped up their game because they don't want to be on the nightly news, and rightfully so. But the article goes in to say that 2016 was less, and they expect 2017 to be even less. Does that mean the threat's going away? No. But then the article takes an interesting twist, and it talks about well, what is the real threat? Loose lips. It talks about people who are either talking about individual patients, and this could be a small town where, oh, why was Jim in the other day? Or lost hardware. You know, so home health nursing is really big, and sometimes they print things out and they take them with them, and sometimes those printed items get lost. Sometimes the computers that they have downloaded the records on get lost, and those are exposing quite a number of records. And still, on the dark web, a medical health care record is more expensive than any other type of illegal record. So I'm not sure the numbers, but years ago it was almost 3 times as expensive to buy a healthcare record as it was to buy a credit card number, because they're easy to change. Healthcare records stay forever. That's what makes them more valuable. Okay, so the last one up. I've been in this business a long time, and we talked about the Internet of Things, and I still get shocked. Even me, I get shocked. Forbes, Janet Burns is a contributor, and she wrote an article. WeVibe settles for $3.7 million in spying vibrator data suit. You heard it right. A connected Internet of Things vibrator, couples toys, they're classifying it as, was collecting data, intimate data, and sending it back to its Canadian owners for resale. Go read the article. I'm at my 5-minute mark, and I can't deal with this anymore. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the second 5. Hi everybody, welcome to the middle 5 minutes for today. So today what I wanted to talk to you about was a question I've been getting from my parents quite a bit. And that's, what do I need to be worried about online? What's the biggest trend today that I need to be worried about? And the biggest trend and the easiest way to access your information is for you to give it to me. This is called phishing. P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. Phishing. Essentially what I'm going to do is send you an email and say, hey, this is the system administrator over at AOL or Bank of America or USAA or whoever, PayPal. We have a problem with your account. Please log in to correct the issue. And then they'll provide you a little link, and it'll look really nice. It'll have the banner up top. It'll have all of the copyright information. It'll have all of that data. But if you look at the email address that it comes from, it's probably not where you think it comes from. It's going to say PayPal at hhome.com or whatever. And that's not PayPal. So one of the first things you want to do when you get these emails is check every email. Every email. Just get in the habit of looking at that header and saying, is that who I think it's from? And if it's hidden, hover over the name that's there, and it'll show you in a little pop-up bubble who it actually came from and the actual email address. So just get in the habit of every email you look at to look up there, hover over that email address, and make sure it's from who you think it's from. That's number one. Number two, never, ever click on a link that comes to you in email. Open your browser and type in paypal.com and log in that way. You'll never get had if you do that. So again, phishing is going to look, the email's going to look official. They're going to take you to a page that looks official. But if you don't know the nuances of how the internet works, you can miss some things. A lot of people already know, but if it's an authentic site that's secured with a secured protocol, you'll see that little lock next to the name of the website up there. If that lock's not there, little yellow lock, it's not an official site. You're sending all of your information over plain text. You never want to do that. Always open up your own browser, type in the URL that you want to go to, and that's paypal.com. And go there yourself. How information, and this is not new. I'll give you a perfect example of phishing gone wrong and how big it can get. The Democratic National Committee was hacked over the election last year, and a lot of that was blamed on the Russia. And it could have been. I'm not going to pass judgment one way or another. The intelligence community knows more than I do, but I know how the attack occurred, and honestly, it could have been any 12-year-old and their kid in their mother's basement. So what happened was, one of the chairman's assistants got an email saying, hey, you need to change your Gmail account. We have a problem. Click here to change it. He clicked on it, went to change it, and he did it on a forged site. The forged site then went over to regular Gmail, changed it so they didn't know anything had occurred, and they had a password to John Podesta's emails. Again, that is 6th grade stuff that anybody can do. That's script kiddie stuff. Do the Russians do stuff like that? Sure. But does the 12-year-old down in Tampa do the same thing? Yep. How all that stuff got over to Assange and all that, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, phishing is real. You will get them. It's no different than the Nigerian prince. They are trying to steal your information. The lessons here are, always look at the email sender in every email you go to. Make sure it's who you think they are, and it should end in paypal.com or bankofamerica.com or whoever you expect it to come from. If it doesn't end in bankofamerica.com, it's not from them. Also, never click links inside of emails. Always, always, always go to your browser, open it, and type it in. I hope this helps somebody. Take care, and we'll talk in the third 5 minutes. Hi, everybody. This is your third 5 minutes for you students and lifelong learners. So, OWASP just put out the 2017 top 10 list where they issued a couple new vulnerabilities. If you're unfamiliar with what OWASP is, it's the Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP. They've been around since about 2002, and they've been putting together a list of those common things that folks who write web applications should pay attention to. Every 3 or 4 years, they come out with a new list. So this year's list is actually quite interesting. They've added, between the 2013 list and the 2017 list, they've added a couple new categories. In at number 10 is unprotected APIs, which is very interesting. For years and years, security practitioners have been saying, hey, I need to know what you look like. I need your ports, protocols, and services to make sure that those APIs are protected adequately. We hardly ever get those. If you're a developer, make sure you annotate your ports, protocols, and services. That helps us tremendously be able to scope your application and be able to set that accreditation boundary that we've talked about before. Insufficient attack protections. That's the other new one coming in at A7. So what they're trying to get across there is incident response. If there's no incident response to an attack, or you don't even know an attack occurred, that's an issue. So they're talking about logging and monitoring and incident response and disaster recovery and those types of things that all need to be related. Again, when you set that system boundary or that accreditation boundary, you need to have a plan to support the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of your application. And along with that comes, how are you going to recover from an incident? You are going to get attacked. Number one, are you going to know you're being attacked? Number two, how are you going to respond? And number three, how are you going to get back up and be able to perform like you were before the attack? Here's the thing. All these things require you to have a security engineer. If you're a web developer, one of those lifelong learners who wants to know about web application security, take some security classes. Understand where these things fit. Take your framework, which we're going to talk more about tomorrow, but take your framework, whatever that framework is, and then identify what the key portions of that framework are in these top 10 areas. The injection, the broken authentication and session management, cross-site scripting, broken access control, security misconfiguration, sensitive data exposure, cross-site request forgeries, and using components with known vulnerabilities, in addition to the other two that I just mentioned. Those are the things that you need to go through that NIST 853 or the high-tech rules and security rules, privacy rules, and understand what citations map to those, and then test for them. Perform a test on yourself. Do a penetration test. Do a vulnerability test. Those are great, but you also want to go through and do manual tests to make sure that you understand where these things are susceptible. You're never going to get rid of all of your risk, but what you need to absolutely do is understand where your risk is and know how to respond to it. That goes straight back to the insufficient attack protections. So, if you're interested in OWASP, they're at OWASP.org. And this is huge, right? They're going to tell you about threat agents, attack vectors, security weaknesses, security controls, technical impacts, and business impacts. It's all really good information, and it's all in one little flyer. So I highly recommend you go and pluck that out and read through it, and I might touch on a couple of these things moving forward, but if you're in a security course right now or you want to look intelligent about web security, OWASP is the place to go. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.